Yo, what is up guys? So with the latest Fortnite patch on Season 7, let's go ahead and go over the changes and talk about what has actually changed and the new additions to the games, and also the vaulted items, because they did remove a bunch of items going into the next season. But anyways, if you guys want to read all the patch notes, I'll have them down below, but I'm going to go ahead and do that work for you. So, first off, what is exactly new in the latest patch 7.0, aka Season 7? So first off, the X4 Stormwing plane, that's the plane that's in the game. You can actually have 5 people inside of the plane, 1 person driving, then 2 on the front, and then 2 on the back. As well as having your teammates on being able to shoot. You also have a mounted gun, but it can overheat. The important thing that I think most people want to know is how much damage it does, and that is going to be 30 damage. But one thing that is actually important is that players will go into the skydiving state when exiting the X4. That includes being destroyed. So if you're in the plane and it actually gets destroyed, you can just straight up use the redeploy feature. You can also do a barrel roll. I'm sure that a lot of you guys have seen that. It's already on the plane. If you get into the plane, it'll tell you can do it. But yeah, you can boost and air brake, but the main thing that I want to go over is basically the changes with the addition to the latest patch. And balloons have actually been changed. So balloons are reworked so you can actually use weapons and items while using the balloon. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen that, but this is something I did not know about, which is actually pretty cool, is you can actually heal up and pop your minis and stuff while you're actually using your balloons. So that is a pretty big change with balloons, because yeah, you can use weapons and items. But important thing, you can only attach up to 3 balloons to their back, and it says lifting off the ground, when the 3rd balloon is attached. Also, in addition to that, if you want to get rid of a balloon, you can press the jump button 1 more time. I actually didn't know about that. But they also reduced the stack size from 20 to 10. Another thing is when people would use the mechanic to essentially, it wasn't as good as bee hopping, which was something that was removed before, but when you use a balloon, you're going to be able to get additional speed. But that no longer exists with the newer changes to the balloon. It's a lot slower. So what people would do before is they would use 1 balloon and they would just kind of hop, and you would kind of gain a little bit of momentum here. But in addition to that change, they also updated the scope crosshair on the scoped AR and the thermal AR. I'd say overall the changes are better. It makes it kind of easier to land the shots. They also vaulted some of the items. So let's go ahead and go over what exactly got vaulted here. Meaning that they are no longer in the actual game, but you can still play in custom modes and still have some of the vaulted items. But anyways, it says, based on recent upcoming item additions, we've selected the following for vaulting. So shadow stones are no longer available. In fact, some of the areas where there would be a shadow stone section of the map, and there would be also a lot of chests. There used to be up to 3 chests in the areas that would have the shadow stones, but that has actually been removed, and now you're only going to get like 1 chest in some of these areas now. But the Porta Fort is gone, but it's fine, the Porta Fortress is still in the game. The Chiller Trap is already gone. In fact, I thought that would have went well with the winter theme, but they decided to remove the Chiller Trap. There is still ice areas on the map where that will still be in effect, so still technically you can get your feet frozen. The clingers have actually been removed as well, but after they nerfed the clingers, if you guys remember back when you could throw a double clinger to shoot the walls, after that I felt like clingers just weren't nearly as good. They also removed the double barrel shotgun, which overall, for most of these changes, I understand that they've added these zip lines, and that's going to change up the gameplay quite a bit, being able to use the zip lines for mobility along with the planes. But I'm really disappointed with this change. The shockwave grenades were by far my favorite. I loved the crazy potential things that you can do with those. So I hope that they bring something back for extra mobility, because I love personally the shockwave grenades. Let me know how you guys feel about any of these things that have been removed in the game. Are you guys excited, or do you guys hate these changes? I know for me, like I said, literally happy with everything. I really didn't care for any of these things. Shadow Stones were good for mobility, but we've gained 2 mobility things, again, zipline and planes, but we lost Shadow Stones. But I'd miss this, dude. There's so much crazy things that you can do. But there's also an update on the map. Unfortunately, this gameplay over here, it didn't end up in the ice areas, but I already have gameplay uploaded. In fact, this is going to be a 37 kill game. over here. We're playing one of the modes where you do have respawn, but yeah, 37 kills, not too bad. But yeah, they added some new areas. There's the new biome, the Iceberg, Frosty Flights, Polar Peak, Happy Hamlet. All these areas are new. And if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you want to know where every single chest is in the new areas. I'm going to go ahead and drop that video very soon because obviously when there's new areas, you got to know where the chests are. But anyways, there are other unnamed point of interest that have also changed up. It's basically just, you know, ice areas. And then you can slide on certain frozen surfaces. There's also the zip lines. One thing I've noticed, and this was something that actually got patched relatively fast. I don't know if any of you guys played the very first day that the new 7.0 patch came out, but they actually removed this feature. But when you were on zip lines before, if you basically jumped off, you would not take any damage. Right now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have also experienced it, and it should probably be patched in a couple days. In fact, earlier tonight while I was playing, or I guess I should say earlier in the morning while I was playing, I still had issues where when I was jumping on the zipline, I would just like fly off. I don't know what causes this issue, but it probably will be patched in the future, so be careful if you're going on the zipline. Sometimes you'll just straight up fall off. Again, it sucks, but that's just something that is in the game. Also, you can aim, fire, and use items while conveniently on zip lines, but you're not going to be able to move. I mean, you can jump. I also wanted to mention this other thing. If you're going one direction on the zip line, you can turn around and jump and land again on the zip line. Sometimes it's random, you will fall off, but you can go in the opposite direction. So if you went on the jump line and you didn't want to go on the zip line, you want to turn around, you can jump right back on the zip line. Obviously, if there's a very short distance, it's totally fine. You can just drop to the ground. But if it's super high up, yeah, you want to go ahead and turn around. But they also increase the chance of final circles ending on the outer edges of the map. Interesting changes, because they actually changed this before, so it would not end on the outer edges of the map, but now basically you might want to stay closer to the inside areas because, yeah, you don't really want it to end on the outer edges. Personally, for me, I always prefer it when it would not end on the outside edge of the map, because if you land in one side of the map, you're going to be playing Walking Simulator. So, I mean, that's how I personally feel about it. I just think it makes for more entertaining gameplay when there is going to be technically more kills to be had. They also fixed some bug events, or bugs that was causing some weapon impact effects to play when shooting friendly players, even though no damage was being dealt. But there's a new pop-up cup. They've been actually implementing a change to this. So the material used to be 500 for the mats all across the board, but now it's 700 for wood, 500 for stone, and 300 for metal. And then players receive 150-50 on elimination, which is actually really cool. I would hope that they just make this on the base mode, because sometimes when you kill someone and they drop no mats, it's kind of unfortunate just because that's just kind of the way the game works. Maybe within the first minute, though, you don't get any like 150-50. But this is, again, for the pop-up cup. Anyways, it's like an LTM essentially. But also the resource rate has been increased by 40%, which I believe was the default anyways for this. And you get 50 effective health. And what they mean by effective health is you will get 50 HP if you need more HP, and if you already have max HP, it's just going to give you shield. And they have changes on the safe zone, so they increase the chances of supply drops in the later circles. And then also Circle 9 now travels twice as far but takes twice as long to close. And then they also said some tournaments will now feature a limit on the number of matches that can be played during an event session. So if any of you guys have played in any tournaments, I was competing at the Bebo tournaments. And what they do is basically, well, a lot of tournaments, in fact, what they do is you have a set amount of time, like let's say like an hour or 2 hours, to get as many kills or points as possible, kills and also victory royales they count as. Different tournaments have different rules for it. But that's pretty interesting. So the limit on the number of matches could affect how people actually drop as well as play in some of these tournaments. Let me know how some of you guys that play in competitive feel about this. Personally, for me, that leads to potentially people landing in safer areas and more slower gameplay versus people just going really aggressive and trying to get like really high kill games. But I think overall the changes would be better for it to be no limit. But in some tournaments, one problem that people were having as far as the tournaments being run is people would just drop and tilt it every single time, get a bunch of kills, leave, and reset over and over, and you could get more points by doing that than actually getting victory royales. But for me, if there's more high kill games, I find that to be more entertaining for the viewer as well as the player. So that's just how I feel about that. But also, they changed some of the performance issues in the game. There's more bug fixes over here, but it says fix an issue which prevented players from receiving elimination rewards if a player they down was eliminated by the down but not out timer ending, or if the team was fully eliminated. But one thing that I still think that they really need to fix, and I'm sure a lot of you guys agree with me on this change here, is when you eliminate someone, they'll still walk. It's one of the most frustrating things because like you kill them and you're like, what the heck, you're still shooting at them sometimes, and you're wasting ammo because you still visually see the player. Even though it says eliminated, it's just kind of instinct to kind of shoot at them again. I don't know. I hope they really fix this soon because it's one of the most annoying bugs in the game. But obviously that will be patched. There's no way they would just leave that in the game. I'm actually kind of curious to see what exactly caused this, because sometimes they'll just like revert something and then it'll fix itself. Or if there was a new addition, it seemed like that one just kind of happened. But anyways, for performance issues, they optimized spawning pickups when a player is eliminated, optimizing the performance of the dynamite fuse. There was also another change to the dynamite, which I really want to mention. Before, you could actually jump over the dynamite. You no longer can do that. That was actually in a previous patch, but I figured I'd just mention it for some of you guys that maybe didn't see that video. Because YouTube, you know, sometimes they just don't give you guys the videos, so make sure you guys are tapping that notification bell. Even my older subscribers that don't have that notification bell on any of your YouTube channels, make sure you hit that. Because I uploaded that video and a lot of people just didn't get to see it. But anyways, they also switched the audio performance improvements. Falling sounds no longer hitch, so that's basically like a delay, or sometimes it just wouldn't happen. They said minor switch rendering optimizations to help general frame rate. So one thing that I also noticed that was changed in 7.0 that I really didn't think that was mentioned, at least not yet, was the distance. Even if you have it on Epic, I think it's just due to optimization for the game itself. They've actually made it so it will be probably more smooth, because when I'm in the plane and I'm trying to snipe someone, I've noticed like the rendering distance isn't as good as it used to be. And I think again that has to do with optimizations to help with frame rate, which I didn't have too many problems with myself, but it's probably more of a balance issue also for people playing on console. So they also adjusted some of the audio issues. It says reduce the volume of bullet and pickaxe impact audio on the starting island, and they added additional hit notification audio cue when a vehicle you're riding in receives damage, although you can also see like the vehicle's HP. There was also added in, I don't think that was in 7.0, but I figured I'd just mention it real quick. They also changed some small little bug issues with audio, an issue that would cause in-glider audio to continue playing. I've actually had this issue, so that issue it has been fixed. I also changed some of the UI. They changed some of the Calamity, Dire, Ragnarok, and Drift challenges have been moved to a new section at the bottom of the challenge tab. So yeah, those are the changes with the latest patch. Dang, I didn't even get to finish it. They also changed some of the small bugs. I'm just going to go ahead and link everything down below. Most of these are small changes, but they also added 60 FPS on the iPad Pro, so that's kind of cool. But overall, the rest of the changes are relatively small over here. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that game. Yeah, we got a 37 kill game. Let's go ahead and just fast forward so we can get to that victory route. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the gameplay over there with this 37 kills just playing on that respawn mode. I love it. It's just kind of fun. But anyways, those are the new patches. Let me know, guys, how you feel about any of the things that we talked about down below in the comment section below. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button to be always updated on the latest Fortnite patch notes and changes. Thanks for watching, and peace out, guys.